Hi, this is Heidi from Garden Crossings, and I want to talk to you about one of my favorite annual combinations that I put together this year. I think this one did really fabulous, and it's kind of not really the typical plants that I talk about a lot. So let me go ahead and show you how it is looking and go over some of the plants that are in this combination, some that have just exploded, others that have gotten eaten alive. But yeah, I think it's a really cool combination, so let's talk about it. So this here actually is a part shade annual combination. It's nestled here under my front porch, so it doesn't get sun until probably around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's a lot of different things in here, but there's just a few things that really have flourished in this combination. Now, for the past 3 years, I have used different pieces and parts to what we have going on here. And it's funny because every year this combination, it just looks different, even though the items that are in it are quite similar. So let's talk about the obvious here. We have the Fuchsia Fireworks. This is an annual. It's an upright annual. It's got this beautiful variegated foliage, these tubular little kind of salmon pink flowers. And as you notice, it's a little breezy right now. This plant just kind of really is a nice upward annual that sways in the breeze. I would say in this planter, it is at least 24 inches tall. So definitely a great thriller for a combination planter. Another plant I used is another variegated trailing plant, and this is the Tradescanthia Wandering Jew, and it's got this beautiful kind of a silvery green and purple to its foliage, and you can just see how it's just really spilled over almost to the ground and just filled out the whole front of this planter. At the very bottom, and it's still fighting to survive, and it's done quite well all summer, this is the Super Bells Double Amber. So when I planted that plant, it was at the top of the container, and it's just been kind of getting taken over by the Wandering Jew, so it's just pushing it down to the bottom, which I still think is pretty because it's giving that very bottom of this planter a really unique look. So those are the 3 very obvious plants that have really won the fight this year, but there's a couple other things I have tucked in here as well. So we have some of the funky pink begonias. So if I want that to show up more, I'm going to need to plant more of them next year. So I put one on each side of the planter, and this is really all that you can see, and we have to really dig in deep to see it. We'll go take a look on the other side and see how much of it's poking out on the other side. Sorry, I'm in a very kind of tight space here on the porch, so that's why we're kind of seem like we're crammed in. All right, there it is again. Not very prolific, and I think it's because it's getting taken over by all these other wonderful annuals. Another annual I put in here is the Begonia Pegasus, and that's this beautiful leaf here in front of us. And you can see in the back there, there's more. So Pegasus is another great just foliage plant, upright, great for in containers or in the landscape. So in the past when I've used this Pegasus, the Pegasus actually has been what has taken over the container. So it's just interesting how year to year the different plants are more aggressive than perhaps what they were the year before. So I don't know, I think this turned out really, really nice. It's continuing to do well. Very low maintenance. I really haven't had to do any deadheading. I've done no deadheading on this plant. It gets, it's in a self-watering pot, so we refill that pot once a week. Add just a little bit of fertilizer in there, and it's just flourishing magnificently. So if you're looking to kind of create something different than maybe, the typical petunia planters or impatiens or something like that, you may want to consider using the Fuchsia Fireworks, the Pegasus Begonia, the Tradescanthia Wandering Jew, or even adding in a little bit of the Super Bells just to add an added splash of color. This is Heidi from Garden Crossings.